My name is Amit, and today is going to be a very interesting discussion. So, what are some common mistakes people do when they apply for a job and appear for an interview as a data analyst or as a machine learning professionals? In today's webinar, I'm going to talk about key mistakes people do and therefore they fail to qualify for an interview. This is completely based on my experience throughout my career of close to 22 years. For past 9 years, I have been taking interview for different candidates, and I've collected, the common feedback which I receive from different people. So this is part one, and in subsequent session, I'll be continue talking about part two, part three, part four. Okay. So first, you need to understand the key expectation. As an employer, they are going to hire you to solve certain business problem. They expect you to know, you expect you to have a certain level of maturity so that you understand whatever job you're going to do it has a direct impact on the business. The ultimate objective of the technology is to support business and ease business user job. During the call, during the interview process, when I ask people about their project, I find some basic mistakes people do. Majority of the people, they fail to explain their past project. They do not know the entire story. They just talk information in bits and pieces. What is my recommendation to every one of you? All of you, make sure whatever project you're putting into your profile, you have a very clear understanding about the requirement. You have very well defined understanding about the problem you're going to solve it. So pay adequate attention to business understanding of the project. Okay. The next question I ask people, what is the source of data, from where do they get data? What is the class of data, classification, the behavior of data, what kind of analytics you are trying to prepare, what are the key measures you have in your data. So most of the time people do not have very concrete and solid understanding about the data. For them, data is just a number. They do not have any emotional attachment with the numbers. So when you work as a business analyst, data analyst, or machine learning professional, you're bound to be good at the numbers and you should know how these numbers are going to impact business. So whenever you are doing some kind of analytics, make sure you have a very clear understanding what is your data and how it is going to help business in answering some key questions. The next question I ask, how do you use that data? Do you use the data, raw data extracted from various sources? For example, one of my customer is using some SCM system, supply chain management system, and they wanted to perform complex analytics and predictive modeling on top of supply chain. So the data which we extracted from the source system cannot directly be used. It is required to be massage, it required to be corrected, clean. That process called data preparation. So before you do any kind of advanced modeling, make sure you really understand what pre-processing is, how you're preparing data, what algorithm, what programming language, what technology, how you're transforming, massaging, cleaning, scrubbing, or enriching your data. And you're supposed to have a very good example to support your explanation, right? Once you have a quality data, then you can do predictive modeling. When you do predictive modeling, make sure that whatever model you have chosen should justify the business problem. If you're talking about linear regression, make sure your linear regression is the right choice of the model, which is addressing the business problem. Okay, then you when you apply a model, you to evaluate how far it is successful or usable in the context of business. It should be measurable. Applying model and you're not too sure about it whether it is going to address business problem or not, it's incomplete knowledge and it is useless for the customer, right? And then finally deployed model. So in nutshell, when you articulate, explain your project in well-defined manner and you know the entire story point to point, it ensures you have really worked on your project and your success percentage for sure increased to the great extent. So there's a certain process, uh, there's a certain process, there's a certain business problem you're talking about. For example, for one of my project, I'm going to address the problem pertaining to procurement. So procurement is one of the process where you acquire services and product, acquired services and product from the outside world. Okay, so there's a certain order in which you acquire the product service. So there's a team, procurement team involved into this process. So you should know what these processes are and how, right from extracting data from your source system, what kind of aggregation, consolidation, what kind of cleaning method you're using, what type of analytical tool you're using, and how you are visualizing data. Data visualization is extremely important because at the end of the day, you're capturing the information to your executives. I see most of the time the candidate memorize or they just mug up the different types of algorithm and regression methods. But when I ask them which regression method may be inappropriate in my case, when I give them some use case, some scenario, and ask them which type of regression method is appropriate under specific scenario. So most of the time people either do not have answer or they do not have any, they are not so confident about it. Because the problem is that people would have studied this but not apply the knowledge. So make sure you apply your knowledge with the real business data, and you should know which regression or which model is most appropriate in the business case you worked on, right? And finally, fourth final takeaway. What do I understand and expect from a candidate, one who's appearing for as a data analyst or data scientist or machine learning professional? The first is very well defined, problem statement. So you should know what is your business problem and how did you contribute to solve the problem, right? Which talks about the quality of data, from where data is being sourced, what kind of massaging is being done, who involved into this process, the team member, the process is a recurring one-time job, data volume, what kind of auditing method you have. So you should have answer to those questions all, and to what extent your business problem is addressed. The next thing which I expect properly people to have a fundamental knowledge. Data scientist, if you're going for a data scientist role, obviously it is utmost important for you to have a foundation understanding about statistics, the fundamental understanding of statistics. You should be very good at Excel, because at the end of the day, when you're demonstrating your product or services or your information to the user, for sure your user probably like to play with the numbers in Excel. So Excel is the most widely solution used in business industry. It is extremely popular among business people, right? Next is, whatever transformation technique you apply, you should know why you're applying certain transformation technique. For example, when I was extracting data from my supply chain management system, we have information about order, order and inventory. So when I process the order details, I found from my source system I'm getting all kind of orders. Some order which are already fulfilled or completed, some order which are incorrectly recorded. It means they are inactive or wrong data. So there's absolutely no fun keeping incorrect or wrong data into your system. You should filter it out first, and you should apply certain type of transformation. Then next is exploratory data analysis. Well, you got the information, but if you do not know how to present it to the senior executives, at the end of the day, you do not know how to present it, right? It's all your efforts are wasted. And therefore, you should be extremely good at data visualization and exploratory data analytics. Finally, two more takeaway. I would suggest you not try to memorize different machine learning algorithm techniques. Most of the video tutorials or projects are available on internet. They are more academic and research based. But I see very handful of examples given on the real business data. So, or real business scenario. Make sure whatever machine learning algorithm or technique you're going to use into your project, uh, you have a detailed understanding about it, and you should know absolute understanding about applying this underlying machine learning algorithm on your respective business data was a best choice, right? Was the best choice, and at the end of the day, it is meeting up the expectation. Data science, data analytics is an ocean, right? You cannot be good at everything, and you shouldn't even try to or attempt to do that job. So identify the area where you are good at, right? Probably you are good at data massaging, data cleansing. Maybe you're good at data visualization. You are excellent programmer and you can write program. You have good understanding about business data. You can be a good business analyst, right? So subject to that, identify the key area where you're really good at and highlight your key area. Naturally, as an employer, we do not expect one candidate should know everything. Maybe you know everything, but I don't expect you to be good expert in everything. It is impractical. So identify the area where you're good at and identify the area and then project that area in a more better way. So these are some key questions. Should you have any question, you're finding difficulty cracking your data science interview, please feel free to reach out to us, or you can put your comments in the YouTube channel. I'll respond to your queries. Please visit our site BISP Trainings and BISP Solutions.com. Thank you.